Hi, my name is Rashed Haq. I'm a vice president with Sapient Global Markets, and I'm head of the business consulting group for commodities globally. And I'm visiting from Houston to New Delhi for our Redefining Perspectives forum, where we bring together a lot of the technologists in the capital and commodities markets to talk about some of the recent trends, challenges, and issues where technology can be applied in those industries. In the recent Redefining Perspectives, what we're talking about particularly is in the commodities marketplace, how the massive changes in energy supply and demand globally is affecting the industry overall, and almost every type of company that's involved, whether that's trading, supply, or transportation and logistics companies like pipelines, shipping, or rail and truck types of companies. And also the regulations that are affecting the same types of companies. And the regulations are being implemented globally, so across the US, Europe, and some of Asia. And that is having a large impact on the energy space as well.
What are some of the trends in India you observe?
So some of the trends, the big ones are with the US producing a lot of their shale oil. The production there has gone up, they're importing less, and a lot of the global oil is going to Asia, so that's changing a lot of the trading patterns and the logistics patterns. And that's very unusual in the sense that over the last 50, 70 years, it has been very static. The trade has always happened in a certain way. The supply and demand locations have mostly been the same. And now, not only are the prices still volatile, but where the supply is changing radically, and where the demand is has already changed quite a bit and is continuing to change. So that's probably one of the biggest changes that's affecting the market. And what happens is when that happens, there are subsequent impacts, right? So the people who use the oil, who are doing refining or petrochemicals and so forth, a lot of their businesses are getting affected significantly as well, right? So that's one example.
Can you share some of the the technology's contribution to the industry, how it is benefited the commodity company?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting topic because there's a few angles there. So the first one is in terms of information technology. There's managing the transaction. So when you trade or when you're managing logistics, you have to know when your molecules start to move or when your trade starts to transact, to finishing it and invoicing and so forth. That has historically been where the application of technology goes, but more recently, how you make the decisions before you transact. What volumes should I buy? Where should I move my volumes from and to, and things like that. There's a lot more optionality, and it's becoming more complex. So a lot of technology is getting applied there, and we'll talk about those in the Redefining Perspective. So portfolio optimization, energy intelligence, those are some very quantitative analytical types of solutions. The other side is in terms of some of the emerging technologies like augmented reality with Google Glass, and then the natural interaction with data. So things like natural language processing, gesture, and touch. Those are affecting a lot more in the logistics space. So for example, if you have a pipeline company and a field service operator has to go and update do maintenance on the pipeline segment. They used to have to do the work and come back and fill out forms. Now they wear all the technology, they talk through, and by the time they finish the work, the form is also mostly filled out. And then they just have to edit it, make some minor tweaks, and save it. So the data quality and things like that are also improving a lot. But the majority of that is getting enabled by these types of new emerging technologies as well.
What is your role, Sapient's role specifically?
So Sapient does a few things. We do first of all, research and analytics. So a company can come and say, I want to get into this market or I want to get out of that market, things like that, and can you help me research? So recently somebody came and one of our clients came and said, we want to understand how coal is going to get priced in the Asian market over the next 2 to 3 years. Can you help us research that? And should we get into that business? So, and just like the shale oil I was talking about, that between 2007 and now, the coal trading internationally has grown by 600%. Right? And prior to that, for 20 years, it was pretty much flat. So, which is an after effect of the shale revolution. So we do research like that, and then we'll do the business consulting side of it. So what should be your operating model? What should be your business processes, organizational structure, and things like that, and how to improve those. And then finally, to enable that organizational structure, what kind of technologies should you use? How should you implement it? What should be all the business rules and so forth? And then, so that's the architecture part, and then being able to implement it and support it as well.